Discord.
Yes. Discord.
Hello. Oh, hold on, my face.
Oh, fuck your face.
Don't fuck my face, please.
No.
Hello.
This screen daring is still an issue. Hello? Hi!
No. Come.
Hi.
We're YouTubers. Are you ready to get scared?
No, absolutely not. I hope I won't be allowed to spook again.
Hello. What fucked up things do you think we're gonna see today?
All of it.
Thirsty.
I hope to see that weird guy's static man again.
Yeah! I don't know. I need to get my teeth fixed. It hurts to drink. Oh well. It's not my fault. Whee! Are you good?
More like, are you good?
Yeah, I'm super good.
Oh, nice.
What? Hello? Oh! Chorby! Show it to me! Show me the Chorby! Chorby!
Get Chorbified. Oh,
I would love to get Chorbified. You know what you should do? You should make a long Furby of me. A long Zia for... What the fuck?
Ollie says, hi. Hello, Ollie.
Hi, Ollie! What the fuck was that? You fuck! Right in my fucking ears. Spoil. I want to die. I don't want to die, game. Alright? Keep your...
Something is making noises. I wonder what.
Yeah, my floppy feet. Sloppy feet. Sloppy feet.
Oh.
And that's... Whoa! Wow, that was very close.
You almost fucking died, but dude, what the fuck? Hello?
It's Snail.
Snail.
Do the snappy sounds. Do the snappy... No. Bad Snail. You're bad Snail. No, don't touch. Jesus Christ.
Ollie
Stop
says
it.
that he missed you. Wait, what the fuck?
I miss you too. If I heard that correct. Ooh.
Ah. A network missing. Hello? What you...
Yeah?
What you...
The internet is going wacky.
Really?
Huh? Yeah. Yep, I knew that happened. Hey, don't worry about it. Don't worry.
I'm dying, bro. Ow, my head.
My camera! Are you alright? Hold on, my internet is wacky. I can't pick it up. Help. Oh, thank you. Hello.
Come on, man. I am trying to.
Help me. Just help.
Yeah. Why?
I was trying to again.
It's empty.
He's trying to slurp you. Oh no, no, oh no. Things are teleporting. Things are. Why is it empty?
This way.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
Technical,
Yeah, I'm going.
technical difficulties. I can't speak.
Are you good?
Just like in chat.
Technical difficulties.
That one brain cell of mine is really trying.
What? You're doing the greatest with that one brain cell. What you doing with that one brain cell?
Thinking of you stream again. Oh. What the fuck? Is she fucking gone? She literally poofed into nothingness. No. Well, I guess I'll go this way. We are fucked. Shit. There. Boy, motherfucker, how the fuck did you get over there? How'd you get here?
I ran.
It was the spider.
No, it was the Slurpy feet one. The swamp feet. The swamp feet.
Yeah.
I
we
hate
did a
that
thing.
one.
Wow.
Really? It's doing its best. It's okay. You spin me right around, baby, right around. Do, 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 do.
Yeah,
Come
I think
on!
it's broken.
No, it's not. Come. It was honest work. Do it. Don't
Which-
wait. Come.
Which one of our internet sucks today?
I'm not sure. Is your stream alright? Because if it is, then it's mine.
I don't know.
Come here.
I just know I have screen tearing.
Okay. Don't look that way. In the name of our... Where are you looking? Stop it. Look at the sunrise.
The sunrise
This
is
is
everywhere.
Shut up! Just look the... Come here.
Ouch.
Are you okay? What the fuck? Okay. Look at the bush.
It's a bush.
Okay, good. In the name of our Lord and Savior, God plushie, we hope... Oh, what the fuck?
Okay. Who did you pray to again?
God plushie. Thank you, God plushie. Oh, I failed.
It did fail.
I didn't know I could fail. Why did it fail? Does it? Is it in our... Whoa. If I press F3, nothing comes up. It's just fucked.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, we might not get to see any of our videos. It's my bed! Yeah, it's my bed!
Hey! Hey,
It's
no!
my bed! I want to sit on your face!
I'm
I
gonna
sit
get
on your
panned.
face! No, you're not! Okay, I sit here then. Get
Which gods are gonna
off.
come down on
Get
the cards?
off.
No.
Get off! Fine, I'll sleep in my bed.
Seriously? What a fucking bastard.
Good morning.
Let me quickly see. With my eyes. Weirdly enough, there have been dropped frames.
Okay. Oh.
I mean, my internet ain't the greatest.
Ugh.
Hey, what the fuck, man? Hold on. I shall get rid of this thing. Above.
You still?
Hmm?
Hey. Alright, what thing? Oh.
My turn. Stop
Say
pumping
so,
my
say
face.
so. No! I mean, I don't know. This is mine. Stop being in my way.
Screw you.
Let's go.
Rip
I
that
like to
one
jump on your
flashlight.
face. Yay!
That one flashlight that got left behind. What the fuck, man? You biggest dickers.
Stop humping me.
What do you mean? You're the one.
I'll show you my biggest dickers.
You don't have one.
I really want a penis plushie.
Would you like to say that again?
I really want a penis plushie.
Thank you.
Oh, fuck. You didn't make fucking... You didn't have light on. How I know?
The light's always on.
Not mine. I gotta kill myself tonight. With my box. Oh shit, this is. Wait, Minecraft. Sorry. I think I'm gonna get your ban.
The what?
Charlie. It's a little Charlie. Ooh, Charlie.
Which one?
I'm a
You
Charlie.
or the... You're? You're the Chorby?
I'm gonna kill myself? Yeah, myself. Oh, I'm the Charlie, yes.
Yeah, you two look like a Chorby.
What the fuck does that mean? Oh. I look like a Chorby.
Chorby?
You look like a orphan Furby.
It's another bone.
Where? Oh.
Here?
What? Okay, so listen, you can put this up your ass and you'd act as anal beads. Or you can put it in your mouth and like floop it out. Listen. It's a really good idea. The mouth part, not the anal beads. You should never stick anything up your ass that does not belong there, okay?
I mean...
It's not hygienic. It's bad for your ass. Skull!
Ollie says,
What?
you kind of smell like... like a baka.
You smell like a baka. I I don't have a nose, so I would not be able to tell.
What are monsters at?
Hello. Hey, watch this. Ow. Fuck. Nice. For the content. Indeed, there's no monsters. Only me. I'm the monster here. You're stuck with me. You want me to tell you about anal beads? I actually don't know anything about them.
Oh. Wow. Whoa.
I don't even have a desk anymore.
How the fuck did you survive?
What the fuck? That was so unfair.
Ollie says Tuya would be an SCP.
I think I would be.
I agree.
I'll just sit in the corner and stare at you. And then every now and then I'll tell you a random ass fact that's wrong. And
Yeah.
sometimes I pour water in your juice. And water down your juice.
Disgusting. Why would you do that?
It's face sitting time! Alright. Good night.
If I get banned because of you, I will buy you like 10 fucking plushies just out of...
What the fuck is that incorrect?
Yes.
You can't buy 10 plushies. There's not enough plushies.
You sure about that?
You're... Yes. Not to mention you're getting me a fucking horsey plushie too. Cause I'm stupid. Did you take a flashlight?
We don't have any.
We do have one, the one you abandoned! Dumbass!
I didn't abandon any.
The abandoned flashlight. Buy one!
They're just trash though. I'll take flares.
Buy a flare. Yeah, buy flares.
Oh.
I took a picture of your ass.
I'm sorry, but that's not content. It's not content.
I don't know about that one.
Come on, give us monsters. Something. What exactly are you yelling at?
I'll never tell. I don't know, I thought I heard explosive bastards. Sorry, I stand by my mic. Ow! You... Take my hand the wall falling down. Have a fucking concussion! Reebies. It's the reebies.
Maybe we'll actually
It's a
use...
camera! Whoa! It's alright. What? No. Be careful, please.
Why you take two cameras?
Well,
Oh, it's a broken.
yeah, it was bait. The one that we fell for. Anyway, it's the dirty bees. They can go see Kermit. Ooh!
SCP-6969
It's a skull!
Shuya Riraku, aka Stinky Moss Bat, that this SCP appears
What
to
the
be
fuck?
bounced over. Diluting. Researchers choose with water or gaslighting them with balls. He's over just SCP marked as stupid. Ow. Skull. Hello. Oh, there you go. What? Ah, fuck. I forgot about that thing.
Hood! Hood!
It's a shooty talk. Yeah, it is.
Oh no. I shall use my trusty source. And my sources are made the fuck up. Please nothing attack me. I am good! I'm being nice, I'm being nice, I'm being nice! Please! I scared at the door. Is Hood dead? I think Hood is very much dead. I'm gonna have a heart attack, so... I think Hood is hiding, maybe? Just open the door once. Film, this is... the fucked up... Oh!
It's really loud.
Take your foot out of here!
What a dumbass.
Well, that was fucked up. Thank you for watching. Hood. Look at Hood. Hi.
Hi. I died.
Did you die? Oh, damn
Yeah.
it.
How much did you have left? Oh no, Lucky.
I have 15 left. What the fuck? Where did Hood go?
Stop filming me.
No.
Died as frick. Yeah. Ah,
I got scared.
damn it.
Please work. I wanna watch the.
Might
You
as.
can watch it.
Hey, look.
You can keep it. Yeah. If you
It's a
break that
frisbee.
shit.
It's a frisbee.
Okay, I'll catch it. I got it! Look! Whoa, it's inside of you.
What the fuck? What the fuck did you do? And did you put it in my pocket?
Hold on. Take a screenshot. I just impaled you with it.
Sorry, but that's not content. It's not content.
Freebies. It's a freebie.
Maybe
It's a
we'll
camera.
actually.
Whoa!
Why are there two cameras? SCP-6969 codename false facts.
Now it's a mess.
How did you not get hit?
I don't know, I'm just immune. You should try being a god sometime. A call leader, sorry. It's very much dead. I'm gonna have a heart attack, so... Film, this is... the fucked up... Oh! Bye-bye! Thank you for coming, guys! Well, that was fucked up. Thank you for watching. Hood. Look at Hood. Hi.
Hi. I died.
Did you die? Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I have 15 left. the fuck? Where'd the hood go?
Stop filming me.
No!
I wish we could have gotten the last one. The last one was
Well,
kind of more interesting. What the fuck?
we fucked up.
Like all they said, you shanked. You shanked me. Wait. The CD.
Okay, I'll shank you. With the CD.
Oh no, we didn't do it.
Oh, it's fine. We weren't meant to be YouTubers.
Very few people ever subscribe to your channel. None of your videos ever went viral. You'd never found anything else you wanted to do with your life.
Oh, that's funny. I still don't have that.
Yeah, I was about to say that, yeah. That's weirdly accurate.
I don't have a reason to live. I'm a danger to society and myself. In Minecraft.
Wait, is it on the ground?
It's haunted.
So yeah. See something stupid.
Who likes bananas in pancakes? Stop filming me! What the fuck? I don't know what to say. Come here. Hey, get face sitting. I'll shove this blanket up your ass. Face sitting. If I catch you filming me. If I catch you filming me.
Hey, Chuya. So,
Yeah? Oh.
when will you stream again?
One day. Get face. Well, I'm not actively trying to kill myself, maybe.
All he says, bro, bananas and pancakes are boggers.
The I never had banana breaks, bananas on pancakes, or in pancakes, or made with pancakes. Ow! Fuck, my knees! I broke my knees.
Come on, you little bog, let's go.
Okay, big pop. I just blocked your view, didn't I?
Yeah, you have a habit of doing that.
I'm sorry I'm so big, okay? Wow! Chorby! I use Chorby as a weapon. Where are we going? This way, not this way. That way.
Chorby, Chorby.
I'm a little Chorby. My little Chorby, my little Chorby. My little Chorby. If I got a dick, it's fine with it. Look, there's spine on the floor.
Wow.
My little Chorby and the friendship magic is cool.
What a dumbass.
Get fucking Chorby, bitch! I don't wanna be friends! No friends! Stand. Get fucking beheaded! Get out! I'm dead, I'm so fucking dead, I'm so fucking dead!
Junior! Oh, hi. They try to whisk you off your feet with their wrists. I do agree.
And I have wrists? I have wrists?
Nah.
What the hell?
Just letting you know that there's something that way.
Well, I mean, there's something now. That's where we need to leave.
Right over there. Yeah?
But that's the way to go.
And you want to go into total darkness?
Yeah. If I can't see, I don't feel threatened. If I can see, I don't feel threatened. Cause I know what the hell is going on. I don't see anything if I scream over my fears.
The snail? Oh, it is not a... Wait, is it a snail? It is a snail. Hey, I got a buddy. There's a friend, though.
Ooh,
Nice to
it is
meet
a
you.
friend though. Yeah? Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Why are you so fast? He's kind of fast though. Come on in. Come in.
Ollie wants me to give it a hug.
No, I'm almost dead. Come on.
Hi, guys, look at this thing.
What the hell? No.
It's just a friend.
What the hell? Close the door! There's something else outside. What's up? What's happening? No. Oh! He's dead.
He fucking dead, yo.
Oh, he's not dead. He's doing his damn best. Oh no. Hut! I can't open the door! Open the door!
Did you... She died. Oh no. How in the fuck did you die?
I'm not talking to you. You killed me. You didn't open the door. Ain't you gonna leave?
This nail doesn't even bite as much as you two.
Maybe it slurped me. It slurped me. Maybe I should slurp you too.
Jesus Christ.
Where are you?
Ow, that hurt my feelings.
It's okay. To regenerate. Oh my health!
Is it not working again? Is my shitty internet fucking it up?
How the fuck not? It's doing sounds.
It
Please,
ain't,
plushy lords,
it ain't fucking working.
hear my prayer. Pray with me. Follow after me.
Yeah, okay.
Please, oh plushy lords,
Please, oh blushy lords,
hear our prayers.
hear our prayers.
For you on video.
The what?
For we want video.
I don't know. I sure don't. It's not working. Sweet ass thing.
Follow me.
Ollie is repeating after us in the comments apparently. Hear our prayers. For we want video.
Come here.
No.
Stay there.
Way too predictable.
I'm not talking to you.
But you just did.
My sacrifice was enough. What the hell? Shut up! Don't talk to me!
What you talking to?
Sleep in your bed.
No.
I'll sit on your face. There you go. Get engulfed by thighs. Hey. Why are you running away from my thighs? Stop it.
Why are you trying to make this sexual? Come on, man. Be professional.
I'm not!
Be professional.
I'm not professional! What about me screams professional, huh? There you go. Perfect. So, what's up? Don't touch my...
No, the video isn't and it failed. It gave us 1,000.
I mean, if we fail every time, then we're gonna win constantly, so I don't mind.
Yeah. As you can see, build to extract. Again.
And now I can read.
Not you.
Oh. Hey guys, you're gonna go into the water, into the little itty bitty. What are you doing? What the hell?
Where's
Where's
the second? Oh, there it is. Okay. Thank you.
One day I want to put this flashlight up your nostrils and see if I can illuminate any of your brain cells.
You might actually find one of them.
What the fuck?
Can't say the same for you though.
Fuck 'em. I know myself. They're just shy.
Well, you make them out to be like vampires.
Can I call you master? Daddy?
What?
Let's go!
What the fuck do you keep calling me daddy?
Because I never had a father. Actually, I had a father and never had a dad, so, you know. I do love my dad. He's kind of a nice one, you know.
Anyone here?
Hee hee. You know, I'm just gonna run towards danger. I'm not scared anymore. I'm tired of being scared all the time. It's my time to shine.
Oh, shine away,
This
little
is the
Passy.
perfect opportunity. Thank you for calling me the appropriate title.
Yoo-hoo.
Hello? Danger? Anything dangerous wants to say hi?
Hi.
Are you dangerous?
That's dangerous. That's a
Are you
pleasure.
armed?
Unfortunately.
How do I cough? It's not debatable. I need to cough. Why can't
sound like a... Why do you sound like an air horn? Like a fucking air
I know
shark
Kermit voice. I can do a Kermit voice Kermit. Well, fine, I never watched Kermit. I don't know how he talks.
Oh, there's jack shit
Do I
here.
look like an alien to you?
Hmm?
Yes, fuck all indeed. Do you think I look like an alien?
I
Do
don't
you
think
think I
I'm
have a big
qualified.
ass?
I don't think I'm qualified to say anything on this.
What do you mean? You know what I look like? You see me in every fucking stream.
Actually, not all of them.
What do you mean?
I haven't seen you every stream.
But you're there every stream. What do you mean?
Well, more recent ones.
Am I blind or was there something in the darkness?
Nope.
Hello? Oh, it's a Chorby. We love the Chorbies.
It's mine now.
No, give me the Chorby. Put the Chorby down or die. Give me the Chorby.
Fuck your Charby.
What the fuck? Where'd the Chorby go?
He's gone.
I did.
Oh, look.
Why me? Holy shit! Sorry! Didn't mean to upset you! Why you fuck that?
It's Whisker.
What the fuck was that time? Why me?
You can't run forever, Chris.
Chris? I should probably Resident Evil together. And Payday. I'm forcing you to play Payday with me, too. God forbid.
We don't talk about the third one.
Yeah, it was a... I mean, this year, like for me, is a flop. It's
Yeah.
trying to kill me, but like Payday 3 is a bigger flop than me trying to off myself, you know? Whoa, that's where it is. Well, I guess we're safe.
Do you think if we stay here, you'll actually spawn anything?
What the fuck is that?
What's wrong?
What is that?
Oh, it's that thing.
Eyeball. What the eyeball do?
I don't know.
What the eyeball do? Ah, baby.
It's just chilling about.
Oh, ah, take me.
How am I supposed to help you? What am I supposed to do now? Hello, Blobby. You should give it a big old smooch. Well, she tried. What the fuck? She already wasted it. I think she just wanted some intimate time with that thing.
I did not fuck the eyeball thing.
Hmm. Corruption, any
I'm
percentage,
not.
go.
Let's go. Plushy gods, answer to us. We
I
love you.
already-
We worship
already-
you.
It's corrupted. Thank you. It's not
No,
doing
it's
it.
okay.
It's not doing it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry.
It's not okay. It's not Taishopu. I know, Ploppy. It's okay. Cult leader, say something amusing.
I love Ash.
You're in
Like
spotlight.
a lot.
What about titties?
I don't mind, I guess. Like they're nice.
Fuck off, you stupid ass bots.
I'm twerking. I'm twerking. Woo! It's in the hips.
Hmm.
Did you like it? Was it?
Oh god.
I love being awkward. I love just making everything awkward. It brings me such joy to see everybody be awkward and like uncomfortable because everything is like awkward. I love it so much.
Iago tried to sabotage me like, what? 3 times by now?
Mine.
Okay.
You
Why?
can escape the face sitting? Do you think you can escape the face sitting? Oh, perfect. I can sit like this now. Why? Well, I'll sit down here. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
You want face sitting? Alright then. I bet I can do a better job at face sitting than you can.
What the fuck do you mean? Look at these. Hello? Where are you?
No, look.
Bam.
Go into bed, I'll show you.
Okay. What the fucking asshole? You dickhead! I'll never trust you again.
I hung myself.
You fucking record, cause mine are fucked.
I don't know. It might be my side as well. Oh, Minna, hello.
Hello! Is it Ploppy on there? Hi, Ploppy!
Yeah, Ploppy was here too.
Oh,
Minna is here now too.
hi, Minna! Do you think you can fit this whole thing in your mouth?
Yes. Can you?
Oh, I can't.
You fucking sore loser.
What the fuck? I'm sorry. Put it in your mouth.
No.
Where are we? Where am I?
Minna, why didn't you go sleep?
Oh, good night, Minna. Good night.
No, he's not going to sleep yet. Why do I keep mixing up he and she and stuff? What the fuck?
Doesn't have those things.
I'm dead now.
Your language is not pronouns.
See, everybody's here to cheer you up. Look at you.
Thank you. Hello. Hood forced me to stream. I'm here against my will. Hood kept forcing me to stream.
Yep, pretty much.
No, I'm joking. That's not true. I'm lying. Don't fucking listen to me. You should never listen to anything I say, mostly.
This is
Probably
kind of
not
like
like.
Lethal Company. But now you are a
Ew.
YouTuber.
Joby, it's Joby. No fucking me.
Hmm?
Joby. And floppy feet somewhere. Slurp feet.
That's just you.
No, it's not me. It's in my head. It's in my head. It's in my head. It's in my head. I hear it clicking. Help. I don't want it in my head anymore. What is that? Oh, down there! It's whiskey.
Okay.
Hello! The whiskey machine! The whiskey machine! Hey! Help! Help! Oh! Does it sound like it has a... Hello? I can't see in the dark. Oh, I have a flashlight.
What a revolutionary idea. Maybe you could use that flashlight to show light.
Yeah, look at that. Oh. Hello? You think I'm saying? Did you film it?
Kinda.
I heard something. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up. I'm not happy buddies. Don't worry, I'll save you. No, don't worry. Hey, I'm here, I'm talking to you. Hello, please, to the movie.
Maybe just the granny left us.
Yeah, it's okay, we talk, and then it leaves. Maybe. Let's go away. This way. No more granny for us. Why is this place? I don't remember seeing this. Ever.
It is one of my favorite stabbers, or it means in British. It is. Maybe it's Holly.
It's what?
The stabby granny.
It's British? Ooh, it's fancy.
It's fucking British,
Aye.
How the fuck do you have so much stamina? Jesus.
I run.
Does fear give you like extra stamina? Because
Yeah, the
sure
rule was
can
the
get-
rule after all. Look. Wanna see something cool?
you sure?
This is for the content. Whee! I'm dead! Actually, I'm dying. Help! I'm actually dying. I didn't realize. Help me!
I'm trying to.
Hurry! Thank you. Okay, let's leave. How do I leave? How do we leave? How leave? Leave? Here. This way.
Just one of those
Hopefully.
people that bangs her head against the wall, doesn't realize it can actually kill her. You're going in circles.
I'm down. This way, yeah.
Is it what?
Floppy feet. It's a floppy feet. You see it?
I kinda saw it.
Not this way.
What the fuck?
This way.
This way? Something made like a squelching sound. Squelch.
Oh no. It's the floppy feet. It's the thing that hurts.
Oh, you're down there. I thought you were in front of me.
Oh no. Oh, that way, shit.
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
Why?
I'm scared. Alright. Well, at least we know parkour. It's very useful.
wait, no. Ah,
You're fine. Are you
my
dying?
camera's stuck. Fuck my arm. The camera though. What's your giggling there?
Why are you going outside? Why
Here you go.
outside?
Waste it.
Um, 50%.
Yeah. Huh?
Why didn't you film the monsters?
I did.
Um,
Whiskey person somewhere. Hello.
I mean hello.
What the fuck are you? What?
It's the whiskey.
He just fucking disappeared.
Hopefully it's gonna come back. We need footage.
Hello. Is anyone here? Oh hi. For the content. Is it there? No.
Farquaad at home never has laid us down. Despite his height and weight, he raises up from the dead. Something in the darkness. Oh, what the fuck?
I'm not sure.
How did I teleport?
I didn't. I was trying to spook you.
Oh, I see you. I was seeing you on Farquaad.
Oh god.
Are you okay? What's wrong?
My
Oh,
oxygen. Fluffy saying, alright, you guys have fun. I'm very hungry. I'll go eat some veggies.
Good nummies.
You better look out. Ali. Blood baby coming to you. For you,
No.
not to you. Yeah.
Do you know the Farquaad anthem?
No?
Me neither. I forgot what I wrote about Farquaad. Come behind me.
She's no one is there to feed me, Maz. Yeah. You should take that up with the cult leader. Because... I don't know. She's
Behind
using this
me!
guy. What do you want from me?
Hold on.
I'm supposed to be behind you, not you behind me.
Okay. Are you ready?
No. You haven't provided me with the
me neither.
lyrics yet.
Just sing whatever bullshit you think is good, works with this. You know, you're the backing vocals.
I get your melody.
Okay.
Da,
Farquaad is tall, and Farquaad is cool. He's all milk fucked up way. Farquaad rises above them all and goes and kills the Shrek.
I'm in a box
the
now.
swamps we go and march. Farquaad's there to... Why in the box? Stop being in the box.
I'm the content. Give it here.
Oh, yeah,
Give
you
it
are.
here.
Okay.
Maybe I can fit here too.
Oh.
Oh. Come on. Oh! I'm dead.
Oh.
Okay, I don't think the devs saw this one coming.
Does it even open when it
Yeah, I'm.
fails?
This is how you soft lock yourself. Oh wow.
I'm gonna sit there in the box for a long while. Oh, thank you. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we can mix and match our recordings. I think that's the problem. I think only one person has to record. On
Yeah,
one
most
camera.
likely. Either that or
At least for our
It's
internet
failing.
issues.
yeah, I think it's failing to share them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. I guess. Should we stop here or?
I guess you're gonna sleep in the box tonight.
I'm dead. Do you think there's commands?
Commands?
Yeah.
No, there's no commands.
Um.
But yeah, maybe we should stop.
Yeah. Might as well say
I'll just
something
sit on you.
amusing.
I'll sit on you on the box. Perpetually facing you. I could definitely try and force you out. Maybe you're kind of out. Go, 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 go. I go, 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 go.
I'm more inside now. I
I
sleep.
helped. Put you back. It's your coffin.
Yep.
You died for the content.
I am the content. A really shitty one though.
I got 2 out of 5.
Nah. Like a 2 out of 10.
No, that's barely even rateable. I don't. It should get cancelled. Like the budget wouldn't be given.
Yeah.
You know. No, you're good. You're 10 out of 10.
I'm dead. Wait, come to Discord. You didn't have to quit.
I am on Discord.
Nice. Well, any last words?
You suffocated and died, and you became famous YouTuber because you suffocated and died in a box by your own choice.
Yep. I am dead.
You did good. I screamed a lot.
You screamed and faced
Scared.
it at me. The entire fucking
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
What the fuck, man?
I had fun.
All he says, I will sleep well knowing that Suya is alive.
Yay!
Well,
See,
for now.
well. Oh, wait. Now I'm alive.
You sure about that? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
I have too many plushies relying on me to give them love and attention.
Yeah, the
It's my
plushies that
dad.
are actually coming too.
And Mochi, obviously.
Yeah. Mochi was the afterthought in this case.
No, it's. Listen, I think she'd be sad. So yeah, I love Mochi. And who's gonna cover her? She was like trying to get my attention to cover her with blankie before she went to sleep. That's so cute.
Ollie says to you that give Mochi some treaties for me.
Okay. She's sleeping right now. I'm gonna give her treaties.
Yeah, burrito cat.
Thank you. The
Miran
what did you
says,
just
yes.
pull?
Bad, Mochi, please.
Once you get on it now.
Yep. If only you would get some rum too now.
You?
No,
Oh,
you. No, you.
Oh,
I don't
I have
need any.
plushies.
I got thick skin.
Do you? You're allergic to water.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from someone that thinks air is spicy.
I don't think air. I just can't breathe. I forget, okay? And I become a vacuum. How dare you? I'm sorry, my brain just needs to breathe sometimes. I can't breathe because I don't want to be hurt breathing and I want to be perceived that I'm alive and breathing. That's weird. So I'll just quietly breathe and suffocate slowly by my own
yes.
hands and then vacuum.
If you don't know how she breathes, it's like... That's her breathing. Trust me,
I
bro.
need breathing sometimes. It's way more dramatic than that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't forget the weird ass last part of the inhale. She turns into a fucking dog.
I've always been a dog. When I was little, I forced mom to throw balls for me and I would run after the balls and bring her back the balls.
Ollie says you're a mouth breather for sure.
I am a mouth breather. When I vacuum, at least.
Porf routine?
What?
Come on. Give us a porf
What?
barf.
Oh. Why did you do that for me, huh? Warp. Warp.
Warp.
I wanna be Kermit. Wait. No, I'm not gonna. No.
Please, Warp.
I was gonna ask her very sassy.
Yeah. Would you like to share the fact that you have been playing Sims all this time?
Non-stop?
Oh, you could consider it non-stop.
Okay, listen. So I have the royal family, and I'm making. I think I'm kind of done, almost done with the royal family and their palace. And then there's the commoners and their best friends, and there's also the royal backup, and also there's like five. There are gonna be more families, but so far there's like 5 families. Yes.
The royal backup is essentially
listen.
the unwanted child.
It's its cousin. It's the prince's cousin.
Don't forget you made them all fucking gay.
They're not all gay.
90% of them.
There's only 2. No, they're not. Only one prince is. And then his pair, and then that's it so far. It's a very dramatic story, has many plot points. I will not take any shit from this.
Did you work out about the horsey ones?
That's a different story. That's Sims 3. And it's a very dramatic, nice stories.
One of the
gonna make every
characters
Sim
is just...
suffer.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that she made one of the Sims absolutely depressed. Like, in every conceivable way, it's... That dude is just fucked.
No, he's not. He's just filled with guilt. About things that's not his fault. Okay? And He has a happy life
Hmm.
afterwards. After the mania, you know. It's
Sure. Whatever you say.
I treat my Sims nicely. Most of them, I guess. I give them nice houses though. They can't complain.
Any last words?
If you give someone a house, a nice house, and pay for their bills, and make they give them no worries, it's okay to give them depression and mentally destroy them. Thank you.
You heard that, Ollie? Mena? Is it everything that has ever come your way is because you had too good of a life? In other words, this is what you just said.
No, I did not. Okay. Keep your enemies close and your mortal enemies closer. So you can beat them up. If somebody pisses you off, beat them up. Kill them. Go to jail. Do it proudly. Don't do crime. Don't do crime. In Minecraft, Twitch, I'm sorry, I forgot this is Twitch. Don't do crime, please. I not condone any violence, and I don't.
Hey, the
I do
best you
not
can do
condone
is just get
violence.
meat bans.
That's true. My account isn't linked anywhere on your title, probably. So
It is.
it is.
It is. Unalive them.
I do not
No, just kill them.
condone any violence.
In Minecraft.
I love people. I would never kill anybody, and I would never, ever do anything bad in my life because I just don't condone this kind of behavior at all. So please don't ban me. There you go.
Okay.
But fuck them bitches. Good night.
Okay. I messed up. Reminds me of that viral story that caused a scandal over here. Because the guy recreated his school and teachers and his bosses in 2 months. Why is that a thing? How is it a bad thing? This is amazing.
I might have spent all the time I kill my whole family in The Sims.
Okay. Okay. We're stopping. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
I want to say something stupid at the end.
You're just blinking is enough. Oh, stupid sound.
Chia doesn't have that thick of an ass or
Okay, let's